This is the story of how my sister decided to ruin my life, ruin my wedding, ruin my relationship, ruin every single thing I have going in my life, but if she thinks I'm going to just lay back and let it go, she has another thing coming. While some of you might see me as the villain of the story, I would request that you hold off judgment for a bit. In the end, you can decide. Nice to meet you, I'm Sofia, the only member of the reputed Merino clan who made it to the TMZ, as this fine September morning allow me to tell you how. I come from humble beginnings, father moving to the US to give the child a better life and all that crap. Except in this case, it was our mother who did the fathering while our dad left us to rot in the confines of a rat-infested studio apartment back in Portugal. One day, when he was about, out partying with his friends, the three of us, my mother, sister, and I, took the opportunity and flew away to one of our uncles who lived in Chicago. Since that day, we've never looked back, and funny enough, our father has not come looking for us either. I guess we could take a hint, right? Anyways, we completed our high school and university education all thanks to our mysteriously rich uncle, with no children, who gave us a place to stay and helped our mother pay off our tuition while she juggled several part-time jobs. While I contributed to several lifestyle magazines as a feature writer and ran a food blog on Instagram, my sister went to culinary school to become the world's best chef. I knew that she had it in her. She was most likely to win the Master Chef USA title among other family members. I've practically inhaled everything she's ever made for us because she was so darn good. I did not have food blog for no reason. Everything was working out for each of us, and my food blog had taken off, and I was going on a solo travel trip every year. Anna was acing every competition and course at her university, and my mom, let's just say she was doing and feeling a lot better than she was before. All of it felt too good to be true. It was. No one saw it coming, but Anna fell in with a group of, druggies, and dropped out of culinary school right before graduation. She came close to overdosing, and when she turned 22 and we had to rush her to the nearest hospital, my mom started to freak out while in the hospital and believed that we had already lost Anna. But Anna was a fighter. She fought and came back stronger on the other side, and after that she went to a rehabilitation center for 6 months. When she returned, her skin was glowing, light shone from her ocean blue eyes, stunning, and she smiled like she did as a kid, big, bright, and blinding. We knew she was back. We had gotten our old Anna back, some part of her. At least because a year later she pulled an unforgivable stunt in front of everyone on the day of my damn wedding and ruined everything that could have been built on a solid foundation of denial and mistrust. Max and I, we booked an outdoor venue for our wedding with the backdrop of a gorgeous lake. We'd all arrived in time at an inn nearby to get ready and then move. However, as soon as I put on my wedding gown, it started raining. So we waited inside, hoping it would stop, but our wedding got delayed and the venue has changed to a small hall inside the inn as the rain never stopped its downpour but only increased it. All the guests had to be notified of the change in venue in the last moment, but at some of them, they weren't happy about it at all. Well, we weren't happy either, how about that? There was not anything that we could do about it. We were supposed to get married today, and there's no way I was postponing the wedding because of a tornado warning. Anna, my sister, had made the impossible possible. The small hall was beautifully decorated and similar to what the altar at the lake looked like before the rain washed it away. Guests sat patiently at their seats as my mother walked down the aisle while Max waited for me on the opposite side. I smiled at him as we reached the end of the aisle and made my way to stand opposite of him. The priest conducted the ceremony and we exchanged our vows, and I said I do before he declared us husband and wife. Everybody erupted in cheers as we made our way down the hall to the area where our reception was supposed to take place. A huge rectangular table sat in the middle for the bridge of the groom and the closest of their family and friends, whereas a smaller circular table were spread out evenly to accommodate for the people that we've invited. Everybody was gorging down the delicious foods the inn's kitchen had specifically prepared for us and chatting about everything under the sun with each other before Anna stood up to make a toast to Max and me. She started off with a smart comment that made everybody laugh and then continued on to explain how we made it out of Portugal and started our lives here. However, she got interrupted when Rachel stood up and made a wild accusation about Max cheating on me with Anna behind my back. Unfortunately, it was accurate, as they didn't even try to deny it. No matter how much I pleaded with Max to look me in the eyes and tell me all this was a joke, he couldn't even lift his head. And Anna did something besides try to get Rachel to shut up about spilling all of their secrets. Our guests were having the time of their lives while listening to what Rachel had to say. While my life was tearing apart into shreds, Max and Anna? How could they do this to me? My hands had started to tremble as I got up from the chair ready to bolt out of there, and moisture started pooling in my eyes. Anna left Rachel where she had came to see if I was doing all right, and of course I wasn't. My sister and fiancé had cheated on me, and God knows how long they were at it. And I found it out on my wedding day nonetheless. I mean, how bad can things possibly get from here on out? I do not want to find out, for the love of God, so yes, I had to leave. Or I was about to when Anna requested that I stop and at least hear them out. Hear what they had to say, and no, I had heard enough. I had also seen enough when Rachel said that she'd heard them the morning of my wedding because her room was right next to Max's, and the mental image that popped into my mind was enough to last me a lifetime. So that is why Anna had come back with her hair all wet and wild in the morning, after I asked her to bring me something to relieve my stomachache, and literally, she lied to me that she had gone to take a dip in the pool in the morning because she's forgotten to bring it to me. That means they're still together and still cheating behind my back. They've got no sense of shame or guilt at all. I freed myself from Anna's grip and Rachel followed me towards the hall's exit, and those heels were painful, but not painful enough to stop me from trying to walk away from my own personal doom. I needed to get out of this dress. I needed to throw this ring into the trash can and set everything on fire, including myself. I didn't realize how I was practically running into my heels before I bumped into my mother on the way to the hotel. She caught me right as I was about to fall to the floor and break my nose. Maybe this would have helped me get that plastic surgery I've always wanted. I looked at her as the dam in my eyes threatened to break down. My throat gave out. I hiccuped and explained everything to her, and she looked sad, confused, and deceived. She exchanged a glance with Rachel for confirmation, who nodded in answer and then hugged me tight and started to rub circles on my back as I relived every moment that went down today. After a while, she led me into a room in silence. Update number 1. I question how blind in love I could possibly have been to not know or see that was right there before my eyes, right before I settled down. My mom stood behind me with her sympathetic gaze fixed on my shoulders, and Rachel rounded the chair and kneeled behind me. Taking my hand in hers, she apologized and said that she should have told me about it the first time she suspected something was going on between the two of them. I shrugged, a self-depreciating smile taking over my lips as I contemplated how much money it would have saved me and how my sanity would have managed to stay intact somehow. She let go of my hands and embraced me warmly, feeling sorry for me, and to be honest, I didn't want it. I didn't like it when people felt sorry for me, so I held back my next comment and just let her comfort me for her sake. It was easier this way, I guess. My eyes locked with Anna's in the mirror as I saw her enter the room with Max through the door, which clearly should have been locked. I cleared my throat, let go of Rachel, and turned around to face them with my head held high. I tried not to show my disgust, though it was painted on my face anyways. I ordered them to leave me alone for what felt like the 100th time that evening. Rachel followed suit, unable to conceal her facial expression as they mirrored mine, and my mother gave no reaction as she attempted not to show how she felt. They begged me for a chance to explain themselves and clear the air, but I showed no signs of agreeance at that. Then Anna called me Fee, with her ocean blue puppy dog eyes. I'd started to hate that nickname that Anna's given me. It reminded me of simpler times, like the first time she'd manipulated me into giving her the choco chip ice cream, even though it was past her bedtime. And I've given in because she was only 4, and I was the only one in charge then. Back then, I could not resist her sweet little face, and now that nickname tempted me to scratch that blackboard until everyone's ears bled. Oh, and now I have a divorce to file. How wonderful! Yay me! Max stared at me, sensing my thoughts like the soulmate I thought he was. I stared right back at him, and I gave him... and I listened. I listened to them eventually. Max and Anna had met with she was 22, and just gotten out of 6 months of rehab, and initially she never liked him, but he kept asking her out, and she had to block his number eventually. Then after a month, Max saw me having dinner with Anna in a restaurant, and while Anna had gone on to use the washroom, he approached me, asking for my number and telling me how beautiful I was. So I just gave it to him. He disappeared just in time before Anna came back. Then one day, Anna saw him pulling up in front of our house, having convinced herself that he'd been stalking her. She went outside to give him a piece of her mind, but she shut up when she realized it was me whom Max had come for. She was taken aback at first, but didn't mind, honestly, and never thought that it'd lead to anything more between Max and me. But she was wrong. When she realized how much I liked him, and he liked me back, yeah, she was jealous. Tuh. Max says that he was never interested in me and that he was only pursuing me to get to Anna to make her jealous. It was too late when he saw its effect on her because we'd already been engaged. But he went after her anyways, or rather she came to him. He'd meant to break it off the moment Anna was his, but she convinced him to keep it a secret until the time was right. And what better timing than at a girl's wedding, huh? I sarcastically applauded their confession and then sweetly asked them to leave me alone, which they did. They were probably satisfied that they've done what they needed to be done, and then they left hand in hand like they had entered the room, and I sat there stewing in my anger. My hands clenched in the fist as I watched Anna walk away with everything that was supposed to be mine. Everything that she stole from me. I will never forgive Anna and Max for this. Update number 2. Hey, thanks everybody for waiting for this update. It's a big one. I promise from now on I'll be more regular with the updates. So, it's been 2 weeks since my failed wedding, and I have not gotten over what happened, and for as long as I live, I will just remember what Max and Anna did to me. I'll never forget what my sister and fiancé used me as a pawn in their ridiculous game of jealousy, which did not end until my wedding day. They made me look like an idiot in front of everybody there and everyone who's come to know me and our family since we stepped foot in Chicago. After my wedding fiasco, Anna went to live with Max for a few days because she could not face me after what happened. I received no calls or text message asking how I was or if there was anything that she could do to help me. Yeah, sure, she could have given my fiancé back, but alas, the only thing I got was an invitation card for her marriage to Max. A never-ending credit card bill for the dress I did not agree to buy, and a ceremony I did not agree to host. What could I do? I had to take it all in stride because I'm the oldest. Does being young and hopeless just give you a free pass to live how you wish? I would have killed for that option if I had the choice, but I always had to keep it together. I did, however, have a different plan for her, and by karma, a different plan for Max. Sometimes I still wonder why they did it. Well, were they collectively just scheming against me, or was I not in a joke everyone seemed to understand? Could they not imagine the shame and embarrassment I felt, and did they not see me suffering enough over the years that they had to go out and do this to me? Rage had taken over my senses, and all I could think about was the betrayal. It was time for me to exact my revenge, because Anna was the one who was getting married today. To whom, you may ask? Your guess is as good as mine. Update number 3. So, today I was standing in Anna's wedding venue lobby when my mother's voice snapped at me out of the daze, and I've been in there for the past 15 minutes. I cleared my throat and saw her standing next to me. She asked if I was okay, and I just nodded, not wanting to give anything away. She didn't press further and told me to check on my sister. I nodded again and left for Anna's room. I knocked on her hotel room and found a bunch of 23-year-olds giggling like schoolgirls while my sister admired herself in the mirror. She did look absolutely gorgeous in that halter neck, Align bridal gown. I would have hated ruining it for her if I had not been so consumed with revenge. My sister caught my reflection in the mirror and smiled at me. I returned a fake smile of my own and complimented her. Her bridesmaids agreed, and I played the role of supported older sister and even had to max out my credit card to make her dream wedding happen, because her delicate hands could not afford to bag groceries for every person who came to Target. I heard the wedding planner's cue in my earpiece and knew it was time. I told the bridesmaids to head to the altar, and they left while wishing Anna the best, and she was going to need it. Anna and I headed to the hall where the wedding was taking place. I offered my arm to Anna, and she took it. We stood at the entrance, and it opened like in the movies, and I tried not to dwell on the déjà vu as we walked down the aisle with the bridal chorus playing in the background. I held my head high, careful not to trip in my high heels, and then I left Anna as she faced her fiancé at the altar. They exchanged their vows, talking about love that would last forever, and I knew better. Forever is just a word. The applause came when they said, "I do," and shared their first kiss as a married couple, but then Anna screamed as she realized everybody was dressed in white. My satisfaction was evident as the guests shouted, "Surprise!" They had transformed into white outfits thanks to a small button that I arranged to be sewn into their sleeves. Well, originally the clothes were stitched and dyed to the colors of their liking, but I convinced them as to what a great idea it would be if we were all to show up in our own clothes and surprise the bride by transforming into white by the magic of a small button. I knew somebody who could do that for me for not that much money, and hence the brilliant idea of 2-in-1 clothing. We could all laugh about that when our hair turned gray, right? In shock, Anna stumbled down the altar and headed straight for my mother, and my mother explained that she did not have anything to do with it, and Anna squealed that only she was supposed to wear white today because it was her wedding. She clutched the sets of pearls, my wedding pearls, that she wore to her wedding while she stomped like a child who did not get her way after creating a scene in the middle of the supermarket. Mom flinched at her harsh tone, yet held on to her as her eyes beckoned me to come forward and explain what in the world was happening. So I did. Update number 4. I announced that I was the one who set up a friendly prank for Anna, and my mother gasped. Anna glared at me, a vein popping out of her forehead, wanting to break free of the empty head. She tried to charge at me, but I held up my hand silently, telling her to stop. She accused me of ruining her wedding, and I taunted her that it was only fair for what I did, and it was a harmless prank. After she ruined my wedding, She then had the gall to blame me and say, who is so blind in love that they cannot even see what's happening right in front of their eyes? Boy, was she right. I tried my best not to let the comment get to my head as my lips curled to a sinister smile, and I waved a hand towards the gathering, saying that she was the one to say it. My mother finally spoke up, taking Anna's side because, she was one of her favorites, and just ordered me to stop everything that was going on because it wasn't funny and we were adults. I only raised my hand in mockery to surrender. Anna said that I did all this because she stole my fiancé, and she watched as my expression changed and my jaw clenched before she realized that she was right. Then she told me to grow up and get over it because Max and she had sure done that, while I countered by saying she wasn't the one who got married and dumped on the same day. A ruckus broke out, and before I could smash my fist into her makeup-laden face, Max came and put a hand on my shoulder, quietly asking me to stop, while saying that Anna wasn't worth the blood on my fist that would come from breaking her nose. I looked back at him, could not believe what he was saying, and why was he on my side? He was supposed to be at Anna's since he was the one who just got married to her. Anna gets confused, probably thinking the same, and he looked at Anna, his face and features not giving out their usual warmth anymore, and before he explained what happened to him when Anna and I were arguing, Paul, Max's friend, had come forward to tell him the truth. Are you ready for this one? Anna had been wanting to date Paul instead. To put it simply, as Max used me to get to Anna, Anna went behind Max to get to Paul. Thankfully, Paul had a mind and a girlfriend of his own and had confessed everything to Max. Even if his timing was wrong. The whole gathering watched Anna's face drain of color before her words stumbled out. I can explain. But Max was done. He was over it. He didn't do anything but mumble an apology to me, saying how he understood what I must have felt when he cheated on me with my sister, because Anna had almost done the same to Max with his best friend Paul, because he was feeling the same. He continued, not expecting me to ever forgive him, and saying that if he could go back in time to undo what he did, he would. He turned around, eased the ring off his finger, and walked over to Anna to place the ring in her palm. Stepping away from the Marino sisters for good, he exited the hall. Anna ran behind him, screaming and shouting that Paul was lying and that she only loved Max, but Max did not listen, and Max left. Alright guys, so I'll just tell you right now, the comment section of this one was hysterical. People were like, oh man, this sounds like a daytime drama. These people need a Netflix series. This person needs to make a movie. I mean, yeah, I can understand that. There was a lot of drama involved in these two sisters. We're talking a web of deceitful relationship, juicy lies. Lie after lie after lie and deceit. A lot of the comments were like, man, I would hate to be OP's mother and has to put these puzzle pieces back together. So let's just ask this question. If you guys were in OP's position and you find out all these secrets about your significant other and your sister, what do you do? I mean, most people in the comment section were saying this white dress revenge. It wasn't enough. I mean, why would you even go to that wedding knowing it's the wedding of your ex who's marrying your sister? Ew. Anyways, I want to hear your thoughts on it. Thank you for joining me today. My name's Mr. Reddito. I narrate these sort of dramas every day. I hope to see you guys tomorrow, but just remember, it's cool to be kind. See ya.